Mm-hmm. Missy, what's happening? Team No Nap over here. Tearing shit up, per usual. What's good? Jonathan Arnott, what up? Fitzpatrick's was good. Here, eat some food, girl. Officially, team No Nap is in the building. Boom. Boom. What's good? Jamaica Essences. What up? Militant Lifestyle. What up? Charlene. What's happening? Happy belated Halloween. What's good? What's good? What's good? It's Rico Lamite, dopest dad in the universe, in the place to be. All right, let's get it popping, y'all. Rico Lamite here, founder of Cannavision Global. You got some stuff in here, girl. Dopest dad in the universe, and also the co-producer, co-host, and correspondent over at State of Cannabis NewsHour every single morning. We can get your daily dose on Clubhouse. About 16,000 followers. And we cover the biggest stories in the industry daily on weekdays at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 noon on the East Coast. And, pickle? She likes pickles. And we just gotta go over these stories, man. Got some stuff today from the Fresh Toast. Cover the story on the tobacco industry and their position in cannabis. So, as many of you already know, many of you already know that big tobacco is already in this. Altria, they have their stake, and whether it's shell companies or outright saying that what they're doing, like, we just got to come to grips with the fact that they are here. They're going to be a major player. We just don't know how big or how benign they will be from the jump. We're going to talk about that a little bit today. So, boom, boom, boom. Yes. We'll talk about Halloween in a minute. You think it's funny? She just wants to get on camera and talk her shit too. Yeah. All right. So every day at the State of Cannabis NewsHour, we talk about the march to legalization pretty much every day from various angles. And we hear the cliche all the time that it's no longer if, but when. There's still plenty of legal, physical, and emotional hurdles to clear before we reach that point, leaving a whole stampede of elephants in the room. Not many around want to address. One of the big-ass mammals is big-ass tobacco. How big of a seat will one of the most addictive and murderous industries have at the green table? Probably one big enough for an elephant, you would think. According to the article, among the many parties who would benefit from widespread legalization of adult use cannabis sale and use, not many more would stand to gain more than the major players within big tobacco industry. That's right. I thought you heard the last words from Marlboro Man, Joe Camel, and those cool-ass black people living their cancerous lives to the fullest in those Newport ads that we love so much. In the back of the Jet magazine. Think again. This article breaks down the three most viable signs big tobacco is well-positioned to take over the shit whenever they feel like it. Well, number one, the decreased acceptance of public smoking. The CDC recently reported that smoking in the U.S. decreased from just under 21% in 2005 to 14% in 2019, from highly visible health problems like emphysema and heart disease to public smoking bans and former safe places like bars and restaurants are being among the leading causes of the decline in smokable tobacco sales. It probably ain't turning around ever. The science is out, and people are pretty fed up with being around cigarette smoke. Number two, big tobacco can't afford to enter the market. Yes, they can. Not only can they expand their current footprint, but they can without making any major adjustments. They've already done for years the research and marketing. Um, Background initiatives and legal squads are in a great position to just flip the switch and begin production in the cannabis space once we are all given approval from a legislative standpoint. With similar required cultivation environments for cannabis and tobacco, warm climate and proper harvesting facilities and tools, they've got everything that they need on deck. They're also familiar with the work that goes into production. Along with already possessing the necessary production and distribution tools, big tobacco companies have already begun navigating processes that were foreign to many cannabis retailers upon their entrance. Having to abide by strict regulations in marketing, locations, and where they can set up brick and mortar businesses, consumer health risk communications. These are some of the challenges that big tobacco has dealt with for decades. And since tobacco is already familiar with so many of the challenges that come with getting their products into the hands of customers, the tobacco industry is beat up and as flawed as it is still in a great position to hop in the adult use game late like a dominant flu game Michael Jordan. Well, at least a better position than those migrating into the industry from other fields. So I think that it's pretty safe to say tobacco is going to be here in a big way. And the only real question is how much market share are they going to own in the end? Remember, big asses need big seats. And since they've got more than enough cash on hand to pick up that bill, I wouldn't totally be surprised if they end up at the head of the table. So originally, many thought that the recreational cannabis sales as an avenue for members of the communities to recoup damages incurred through mass incarceration for marijuana-related offenses, but the looming threat of big tobacco within the industry will determine whether those plans come into fruition or not. All right, so let's go to these questions. At what point will legislators, regulators, and operators finally address the biggest elephant in the room and how big tobacco will be taking its reserved seat at the green table? I don't know. This is something that people have known from the beginning. One of our correspondents and my co-host, my partner in crime on the show, Nicole West, she actually used to work for Big Tobacco, and she knows a lot more about the background there. They have been doing case studies. They have been doing their research. I mean, there's a reason why these companies continue to be dominant when they get called out for being murderous, for being slanderous, for being predatory to Black communities, predatory towards children for so long, and they continue to move on. It's because they got money. Period. It's all that matters is money. It's tobacco, and it's going to be huge. So I think people should really begin talking about this. Is it a problem? Is it a good or is it a bad thing? It's the next question I have here. I don't know. We have no idea. And good and bad is always subjective. And historically, tobacco companies have been terrible. Historically, America's been terrible for especially for the Black communities. So I really don't know. I think personally, I think it's just how you look at it and what their rebranding efforts are going to be like going forward. People say Facebook is toxic, it's addictive, it's taken over a lot of the youth in the and it has taken over a lot of the youth and their innocence of the internet. But people still use it. It's a tool, and these tobacco companies, as they come into the fold, they're giant. They're multi-billion-dollar companies, and there's gonna be a lot of money to be pushed around. I can definitely see a lot of people letting go of a lot of their quote-unquote morals just to hop into the game. And if big tobacco is the one cutting that check, so it is what it is. And you guys got to remember this capitalism too. So People are here to make money, and it doesn't really matter to where that money comes from, as long as the lights are being kept on. So it'll be very interesting to see how people try to spin their reasoning for working with some of these tobacco companies that are going to get in. But I can guarantee you a lot of people are going to lose those morals really, really quickly when these tobacco companies start writing checks and they turn green from brown. All right. So would you buy rebranded tobacco company cannabis products? Personally, no. I like buying craft cannabis, mostly top shelf, and the majority of the weed that I smoke is from my friends, my business partners in the cannabis industry, because I support their movements. So I really just don't see myself getting down with um, this the tobacco movement. So if there's like some Joe Camels, there's some Marlboro Greens or whatever. I'll probably try it, but I probably won't be spending any of my own money on it because I like to reserve that cash for my people who have been in the struggle. But to each their own. I can't imagine there'll be craft cannabis under the big tobacco labels, but then again, InBev owns Budweiser and all of them. They bought up a bunch of these craft beer companies. You can see a lot of that going on. You can see them doing the same thing from a tobacco standpoint. I don't see that as very far-fetched at all. So you might be thinking that you are going with a small batch, small company cannabis brand, whether it's pre-rolls, flower, vapes, whatever, and it very well could be sponsored by Big Tobacco or originally Big Tobacco, whatever they rebrand themselves as, and you could be bamboozled. But I like to know what's in my shit. Hopefully, they won't allow these big companies to put additives in them like they do with cigarettes, but we'll see. And as I said, money talks in this industry, so it is what it is, and just got to be aware of what's going on and be prepared. So, giant corporations, government, and big tobacco, they're in this shit. So, just be prepared and just know what you're up against if you are battling these big companies. And at the end of the day, it is what it is. It's capitalism. So, all right. So this one's coming from B-Man Sites. He said, are Marlboro Greens real? I don't know. I know there's been memes floating around and mock-ups floating around for Marlboro Greens for a few years now. I really don't know. It's something I should definitely look into. But I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised. All right. So this is a good one. So this is coming from Tracy Sanchez 1311. She says, okay, I understand. All right, so she says that these tobacco companies just got in trouble for selling menthols to Black communities. Do you see them doing the same thing? Like, I mean, they already have all the data from the Black communities. They already have the data from those consumers. I'm not going to say that they are going to use that information, but I don't see why they would not. Um, you know, everybody, I guess, could change their mind. Everybody could change their heart, but tobacco companies. Why would they change what's been working for them for years? And nobody's really buying cigarettes like they used to. So it just makes sense that they would switch everything over to hemp and cannabis and continue making money, continue to increase their market share in smokables. And I don't see why not at all. Laura Lou Experience Design, what's happening? Mark Miller, 25. What up? Excellent balance. What's happening? All right, good question. All right, so will the packaging rules apply to cigarette companies like they apply to cannabis? Like, I don't see why not. They should. If they enter the market, they're gonna be entering just like everybody else. I can see them coming in, especially on the adult use side. I think what would be more surprising than anything else is if they try to enter the game or do anything on the medical side. That would be like mind boggling if you see big tobacco um, trying to do a bunch of shit on really thanks trying to do shit like on the medical side and trying to give people medical advice after all the millions of people that have been killed by tobacco products and misleading labels, misleading advertisements, and all of that stuff. So that'll be crazy, but I wouldn't put it past them. We're talking about big tobacco, sin stocks. It is what it is, and America has accepted that. Why? Because they have deep pockets. You know, break everything down to science. You know, the data don't lie, and capitalist society, the version of capitalism that we are living with right now on a global level, is all about money. The only thing that matters in the world when it comes to economics, money, and real estate. So, you know, be prepared, know what's going on around you, and this little girl needs a nap. And it could be a huge opportunity for people too, for investments. I'm trying to stay as objective as possible on this one because we're just talking about major corporations. Um, these tobacco companies, you can hate them all you want. They are still legal entities and they're still huge corporations making lots of money. I'm not sure how much taxes they're paying, but I'm sure they're paying a lot of taxes. And if they bring that money to the table, they bring that experience to the table. They have a lot more clout than many of the newcomers do in the industry, both at the bottom of the totem pole as well as these other large corporations. So look out. Mr. Spitter was good. Yeah, we were the last dragon. Had a few people reach out and they said, was I Little Richard or was I Rick James? No, I was Show Enough for Harlem, Dion Cole from The Last Dragon, Barry Gordy, classic for the black community, and I still got my mutton chops and my Fu Manchu going on here. We had a great time. Nobody really takes Halloween more seriously than we do in the Lamite household. So appreciate that. Appreciate the love. All right, so checking out for today. Make sure you guys kiss your babies, love your mamas, hug your daddies, and when you look around, there's no place else to turn. Just remember, you can always turn the fuck up. My name is Rico Lamite, CEO, founder of Cannabis Global, decentralized media broadcast organization, and also co-producer, co-host on State of Cannabis News Hour. Each day of the week, you can get your daily dose. Me and 11 other thought leaders in the cannabis industry get together, we read the biggest news stories, we debate, and get other people involved in the conversation too. So hope to see you guys out there tomorrow. Stay safe. Winter is coming, and I hope you guys had an excellent Halloween weekend. Check out tomorrow. Peace.